This is day 927 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you like sponsor, come share more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. Please on me directly, very quickly appreciate it. Today we are doing Siman Tov Reish Chavav, Sif Tes Vav to Chafalev. Well, it's a complicated thing at this point, this whole business with the lattice work and the roof tiles. And see how he sorts it through in Tes Vav. Medina Puzzle Rabbeinu Beis Yosef came, see if he was Shorter. This is the part of Beis Yosef. Also, sukkah matami by his tachas agag. You make a sukkah in the inside the house under the roof. Shesir rafim, where you move the roof tiles. Even though the lattice work upon which roof tiles rested still remains in place, the sukkah is kosher. I can't show them. Says Arukh HaShulchan it's clear to me. Rabbeinu, he says he's coming to din zeh. He agreed to this din. It's a funny way of putting it. Vitam hatur. So the tour he had said back in the Yud Beis had said that there's some people not to make a sukkah in the house under the roof, even though you remove the roof tiles, since there's still the lattice work in place, even though there's large airspace opposite, which is in between the strips of wood of the lattice work. So he says here that that was in based on Yud Gimel. He says that Rabbeinu Yechiel, the Torah quoting Yud Gimel said Rabbeinu Yechiel, when he would make a sukkah underneath the house, when he moved the roof tiles, he would put up the sticks from the schach to the lattice work, so make the mechaber the schach. And then the Torah himself and Yud Dalet had said that it's mutter that even if you even you don't do that like Rabbeinu Yechiel, because it's only a problem when if the lattice work itself would be tzil samru and mechamasa. Here there's since there's enough airspace in between for the schach kosher to be tzil samru and mechamasa, it's not a problem. That was basically what the Torah says. About Itur, and then he said about Itur, he gave another reason to be matir. He said since you remove the roof tiles, the wood which remains, the framework doesn't have a din of schach puzzle because you fixed it by removing part of it, like the case of Gemara, where you remove part of a roof, it's considered that the whole roof can become kosher. So now the Arukh HaShulchan analyzes the psak of the Beis Yosef based on all these on the Torah. So he says again, near the side, but Rabbeinu Yosef is skim l'din every time a tour. Can't not well lattice a daiti shat tilas and ruba mechamasa. Even if you remove the lattice, there's still going to be tilas and ruba mechamasa because of the schach itself. Can heter lattice ain't tzarich lasas harafim debater. You don't need to be matir the lattice, like the Baal Iter says. That's to say, to come out to this like chiddush that removing the roof tiles makes even the lattice work kosher l'schach, because anyway it's still some moving mechamasa on account of the schach itself, disregarding the strips. And those who say no, that it's actually because of the removing of the tiles. And like the Baal Itzer, presumably, that's machshir, the framework of the lattice. So therefore, according to this, if the lattice was there without the roof previously, there's an schach posel, because if the lattice came at the same time the roof, I don't know exactly how that could work, but if the lattice came same to the roof, so then you could say you're removing part of the roof, you're machshir the rest of the roof. But if the lattice is there prior to the rest of the roof, so then the lattice can't become kosher just by removing the roof tiles. That's what I'm going from. So the Arukh HaShulchan says, he says even if you remove the tiles, it still goes schach puzzle. First opinion the Torah brought down that they're puzzle. They're not just they can't be machshir by removing the roof tiles. The head to the feeling with schach puzzle. But if the heter is that even it's called schach pasul, Yishar Gamba Maloma Kamatas, even remove the airspace taken up by the lattice work itself, there's still be Tzilasam Ruben Chamas that's a tour, there's still gonna be more shade than sun, like the Torah Moshe Kasavnu as we wrote previously. Mr. Burr makes these opinions. He says, in order to be able to all the Sveikas, there should be, you should move the lattice work itself so there's no more, there's the gaps of 3 tvachim or more between the various strips of the lattice work. So otherwise, you shouldn't say lover to cover, that it should be considered to be, it should be considered to be over, to close up the gaps, and then it would be the framework being the schach as opposed to the schach itself, which I don't understand because my impression was that we don't say love l'achmir, and here he wants to say the Mishnah wants to say love l'achmir, and that doesn't seem to be the case. And definitely where you have also about it between lion as a sniff, it seems like a very big chumrah. Let's see what Arukh HaShulchan says here in the brackets. Mashiz the bakshir he took share ben adlat this year some shlosha talking about they can't who normally love l'achmir. Bingo. So the Arukh HaShulchan asked the exact same question. I just asked Mishnah Berurah, requiring, like the Mishnah Berurah said, more than 3 tvachim between the last word doesn't make sense because don't see love l'achmir. And then ikar come on a sabach. So what's the pshat? The Bach says the Bach means to tell us really slowly smoke al bal. He's trying to say don't rely on the ehitter. Ayin sham. But the head of the Torah is that anyway, it's just also because of the interspersed schach is clear. The rock boyfriends and materials it's only matter in such a manner, not to include the lattice work in the cheshbon of the schach. Tasim kan herichlid close. The Taz in Sifkan Gimel it has a long rejection. The Chiddush Isra Asa Lattice says the prohibition of lattice work can be tam shnei schachim because the 2 schachs ayin sham. We go of tuim. It's astonishing. The Ezehil shnei schachim ha'etzim ha'dakim. How can these thin strips of wood be considered to be a second schach? Okay. The Tez Moshe rejects the Taz. Tez Zayin V'da. You should know the Kol Dinim which is bar b'sukkah shadar sayilon. All those which talk about a sukkah under a tree, as we have explained them. Zeh kol mimokar Mishnah is all from the source of the Mishnah. How the osa sukkah tachas elon, he also talk about and make a sukkah on the tree, it's made in the house. Digu magmar the zelksha elon silasa muruba me'ova, and the Gemara says this is when the tree has more shade than sun. Thus mikol b'chol inyan posel no matter what. But the sun has more. The tree has more sun than shade. And the branches are a problem. You beat down. It's kosher. The parish is chaftan. What is chaftan? Mean Rashi. This is a rush vatur. According to others, showing my kavana, she spilling up the lamata. You bang them down. You didn't chop them off the tree, but you bang down. You mix them together with the schach. Rama parish kosher. According to Rama, the interpretation is that you chop them off. More appears according to more the pshat is we remove the leaves from the branches. Rash was up Rash agrees with the more because she came to Ayin Sham, and that's the Rashba says the Goyim agreed to the Ba'amor pshat. If you're showing more those who want to say the Gam come on, so Rama come more, the Rambam also like a Ba'amor. That's Moshe says the Sham even though your king does not seem that way. Kam Rabbi says he will go because Mishnah Lopi Yoshkein. The Beis says does not include explain the Beis says that way, the Rambam that way. But rather we wrote. And bracket says here, Mishnah Fleischler Rambam Kamor Rashi, which means you beat them down as opposed to cutting them off. The places. Vein move cloud that is not a sort of by the Mishnah Beduk. You tell me, Ochanu Shama Mishnah. There's a further source in the Gemara. Says the Mishnah, Less a Gevin. By the way, I had one a Rav came to me recently and said that he thinks that if a tree is or something else is hundreds of feet over the sukkah, even though it's directly over the sukkah, it doesn't pass the sukkah. I said, no, it doesn't work that way. It's Oila Rakia, and I don't think we're going to find otherwise. If we do, I'm going to have to eat my hat. You learned also in Mishnah, if you put the vine as over the schach, we use the schach, the sukkah kind of like a trellis, like you would hold up a vine, a grapevine, that's a glass or a gourd, which evidently grows a similar way. And you put you didn't put it on the side, put it underneath. Oh, sorry, you had the grapevine there on top of your sukkah, and you had the gourd on top of your sukkah, and he put the schach on top of that. Psula. You know, the schach was much more than the grapevine or the gourd. It is shkatzon, or you cut off the branches of the grapevine or the gourd. Sheretz kosher. Gemara Mishnah Zubin Yonah Tachas Elon. Gemara brings this Mishnah in the sugya of under the tree. The Pirush Ganki name was like kosher. It says when is it kosher? Same thing. When the sichel is more than the grapevine or the gourd, only when he did chavata. Rashi tells the Rosh Hashpal. Rashi tells the Rosh means to knock them down so they're all connected together. For Agtitz Rambam, it's to chop down. Marva Rashi Chavidas is to move the leaves. Then like shows the Rambam Hakani Osha Katzaton. So what it went second it says you or you cut them down, right? This says here, Osha Katzaton. Here the word Katzitza is used. So the word Chabata previously would seem that it doesn't mean with a Katzitza. Let me take Shula of Cain. They actually have to ask the question, Rambam. The Mishnah, he explains this way. The tzarich is that gam niyanua. It says you also have to shake the branches. Okay, if not, psula, it's supposed to shum tasalom and also. Because it's there already as a grapevine, and now you want to use the schach. Okay, but Reisha Mai Katzitza below niyanua. In the beginning, it's about cutting down without shaking. And here, when you're cutting down, you have to shake. You can explain this. In below niyanua, without shaking, and Katzitza Nikar is Kokachamon. You can't really see the Katzitza. It was the same level beforehand. So that which says, or you cut them, that is where you can recognize the cutting. And you can only recognize it by shaking. There is a big question here. The came in the Shnei Mishnayos in Davar Echad, Tati Lamali. Since both Mishnayos tell me the same thing, why don't I need both Mishnayos? According to those opinions, it works out well much because Rabbeinu Tam Timi Kan Chiluka, because Rabbeinu Tam derived from here this distinction, whether the tree came before the schach, there was Ba'ina and Hadina Shizbaru, there's the needles which are delineated here, where the schach came before the tree. Because then even if the tree has still tzilam room and chamos, it's kosher. That's what we're talking about here, where the tree came first. So just like that's the case by the grapevine, it's true also about the tree. That's the only problem, the tree was there first. Well, that which you not know so much in Mishnah Rishon from the first Mishnah lady explicitly. Yeah, Rashaman Dachud Varav and John, but Rashaman rejected his idea based on what came first. It doesn't make a difference what came first, the tree or the schach. I mean, you can't call it that's the case why I talk about need two Mishnayos. They didn't bring down Mishnah of Hilah Sagefen. There's no novel idea in it. The kosher tied to limited, so why do I need both? You test. So the Gemara, when it brings down the Mishnah under the tree, when it says here, the branches of the tree, because we also want to eat love a Kool-Aid. There's also in the other Mishnah. I meant to say it's only b'devet, but it doesn't work. It does work like Klomar. Meaning the Mishnah did law from the Mishnah of you put the schach on top of the grapevines. Lo shana rak b'diavad. We only know you can do it works with the Yeva. Mishnah Tazina Zarav. You didn't fix the Lechatchila. Ayin Shem Rashi. If you say Yeshua the Chor, the Zed, the Tzarich, the Zed Tzarich Shnei Mishnayos. So you say perhaps this way I need two Mishnayos. I'll leave Shem Rakim. We can't say this says Zokshon. The came of the Mikoidem Shmionu the Gam Lechatchila Mutter. That's the first Mishnah of Hila less. Again, this one tells us that it's Mutim Lechatchila. Koshkim the Yeved. Certainly in the Yeved in the case of Hila it's Mutter. It's difficult to say the Mitura Mishnah Shemanaza. We learn this out from then there one Mishnah being superfluous. There's the Derek Mishnayos came. Mishnayos don't work that way. You don't darshan the Yisro Mishnah. And seems to recall that in Risham they do darshan the Yisro Mishnayos, but not the Bavli. But they came in on Rabbi Yisrael made Dino. First and then and also how does Rabbi Yisrael not make like his din? If it's just a question of Chatchila B'Yevid. The Gemara asks right Chatchila B'Yevid. Vadi Yesh Odeis a Din Chodesh with this. So it must be some new, other new halacha. Chaf L'chein Hil's Daiti, it seems to me as follows. The other, on the contrary, the Rov was saying Kamash LaMishla Su, the Ain't Chilik Ben Kodem Elon LaSchach, O Kodem Aschach Elon. Look at the Rebbe Tam Zal. This goof was the second Mishnah is coming to tell us that there's no difference whether the schach is first or the tree is first, and to bavor, to preempt Rabbeinu Tam's perspective. The Rashba Varan, Pirshu, Hadidnan, he loves a given as at last Yichav Agabo. They explain, first he put on the grapevine and the gourd, and he puts schach on top. B'davi Kmo, oh, Sichei Agabo. Oh, or you put the schach on top of it. Kamahila, I'll get a schach kodim. In other words, you put the vine or the gourd on top of the schach came first. Oh, Sichei Agabo. You put it on the schach on top of it. They don't cut the tree came first. I am shown that everything makes the difference, the sequence. That's the Chiddush Mishnah. The Mishnah shows the first Mishnah of on the tree. Masha indicates the head you explicitly Sha'ilon Kadma. The tree came first. And so you shouldn't say that if the sukkah came first, no matter what, it's kosher Kamashalon below. So that's not the case. It's all the same halacha. Chavav v'nei Rambam shon kasser shtei mishnayos hamishnos. Both mishnayos is Shonim. Hosted kasser house. He also makes a sukkah under the tree. Kilo sabbat until you made in the house. He lost lanos. You this is the fancy word. You can't lever over it. Leaves of trees, uvadein, and the branches, sirah gabam, and put schach on top of them. Har kutzam, then he cut them. Ima yasichu karbei mehem. If there was more schach than those trees which were growing kosher, it's kosher in lo yaskichu shaya mitchila so kosher. Because kosher arbei mehem, if there wasn't to begin with a substantial majority of schach kosher, so you have to shake these newly cut branches after you cut them. So it's made for the purpose of sukkah. If you put together something with which you can make schach or something which you can't make schach, the Sikha B'Shnei made schach of both of them. Even though there's more kosher than puzzle, psula it's puzzle. The Sikha B'Zel Atzmo made two parts of your schach, one with the other, one with the other. Zeh b'tzad zeh, one next to the other. If there isn't a width of 3 tefachim schach puzzle one place, it's going to be kosher, etc. at Kol Hashanah. So this is where we stop for today. But the Rambam, we're going to explain the Rambam. Be'ezras Hashem Yisborach tomorrow.